things work out his way, he's going to try and maybe just get it done in one more stop.
Well, and this definitely puts him within his window for one more stop now at lap 23, based on what we've heard calculation-wise, correct?
Well, he has.
Well, I'll tell you what, we'll delve further into that possibility as we will take a break. And we're under our second caution here with just 23 laps complete of 85. Back here at Toronto earlier this morning, the Firestone Indy Lights had their race, and J.K. Vernet, for the 4th time this year in 7 races, held off Dan Clark and the rest of the field to pick up the win. As you can see, the top 5. Congratulations to J.K. Vernet and the Sam Schmidt team as they win again here at Toronto. Under caution because of Helio Castroneves' incident, he has caught up, or I should say Jamie Little has caught up with him.
Well, the good news for Helio, he walked himself over here and bypassed the medical center. Helio, what happened?
Well, certainly car was fantastic. Oh my goodness, we had a super car today, and I guess new tires were giving me a great confidence to brake, and I think Victor, when you're running back there, you brake a little early, and I was not expecting he braking that early. I was using the push to pass, trying to go inside, but when he closed it in, I said I'm gonna go outside, but I was not expecting he braking that early, and obviously ended up clipping my my right front tire, and the race is over for us. So if you can see it tuck in inside, I'm like, okay, he's gonna give the, not gonna give, I'm gonna go outside, but when he brakes so early, I'm like, wow. I did not expect. It's like suddenly the guy stopped in front of you, but you know, it's I can't believe it. This place it's love and hate. I love this place. Every year we actually fast, but unfortunately we always have a DNF. So well, let's go thinking about next year. Hopefully not have a DNF.
Hey, on the bright side, last year it was booed by the fans. This year he took the lead and they all applauded.
That's right. Hey, booze, applaud. Well, both of them were DNF. I want to change next year.
Well, Helio's talking about DNFs. 5 of the last 6 races here, he has DNF'd, Marty.
It's his 2nd DNF of the season. He came into the race 5th in points, 22 ahead of Ryan Hunter-Reay. Ryan will have to finish in the top 3 to overtake Helio today in the points championship. All right, let's reset it for you. Paul Tracy stayed out. Vitor Meira stayed out. Dario Franchitti is 3rd. Will Power 4th. Justin Wilson rounds out your top 5. You saw on side-by-side, Mario Romancini was really the only taker on pit lane as far as this last caution as we're getting ready to go back to green flag racing. Paul Tracy again in front of the hometown fans. Brings them around as we get ready to work on lap number 26. And we are back to green flag racing here on the streets of Toronto.
Now for Paul Tracy and Vitor Meira, who's aboard the ABC machine. Both those guys are running on tires that are well used from 3rd place on backwards. Dario and Franchitti, they all have pit and have those fresh tires. So theoretically, they should be quicker. And right now, Alex Lloyd with his rear wing and rear suspension off, Marty.
So he has a crash, and it looked like it was one of Eric Bachelot's cars that was also involved, and you can see exactly where that is, right down at turn number 1. And again, we're going to go back to full course caution. So after running pretty clean early in this race, we're having 3 quick cautions, and now again we got to talk fuel strategy, because this has definitely got to open up some windows of opportunities for people if they want to try and make this on one more stop, right?
Well, and for Paul Tracy, again, he is smiling because he has to try and conserve fuel to get through as many laps as he possibly can. And if you can get 30 on a tank full, roughly, they're saying underneath green, and we have had quite a few yellow laps right now, so we'll have to see exactly when he feels he needs to come in for fuel, but he will try and stretch it out. And no doubt, every yellow that he sees, he's going to be very thankful, because if he can get this done in one more stop, everybody has to stop one more time, Marty. So it just might play even for everyone.
Well, looking out our vantage point down here along pit lane, there is nobody really set up. And there's the damage, and it's Alex Lloyd as he is in the Homaltro safety team vehicle. He'll make the mandatory trip. Let's get an update from pit lane on strategy. Rick DeBrule.
Well, in fact, listening to Nick Harvey and Paul Tracy, Nick Harvey being the strategist for Tracy this weekend, they actually want green flag racing. They want the yellow flags to end. What they'd like from right now is for it to go green flag the rest of the way so that everybody has to make a green flag stop, and everybody in essence would end up being on the same strategy. They think that's what would give them the advantage. Yes, it does stretch out his fuel window. At one point they were figuring they were good for about another 10 laps of green flag racing, but as they were talking to it on the radio just a moment ago, Nick Harvey told Paul Tracy, what we really want are green flag laps. We got to get these guys so that they can race, so they can get the green flag going and then put everybody in the same strategy. But that only pays off if there aren't any more yellows.
You like that call?
Well, it's a different way of looking at it, but I have to say that I think it's the same both ways that you cut it. I guess Paul's been out there for a fair amount of time, so I would think that he would want to find the yellows just to make sure he can get only one more stop.
Pits will be open this time. We'll find out what everybody else is going to do. Justin Wilson led the first 17 laps. Paul Tracy, for the first time in his IZOD IndyCar career, is leading laps here at his home track of Toronto. He has now led a total of 10. And as we said, this time by, pit lane is open, and we'll find out if there are going to be any takers here as we're about to complete lap number 28. And again, so far from that view, you can tell nobody has come in. So it looks like we're going to find out how the stretch. There goes one coming into pit lane. As we get ready to step aside, we'll tell you this. We'll be back from Toronto after this word from our ABC stations.
ESPN's coverage of the IZOD IndyCar Series at Toronto on ABC. Brought to you by GoDaddy.com. Domains, websites, and everything in between. Firestone, the first name in Indy racing. And Mother's Polish. There's no shine like Mother's.
Still under our third caution here on the streets of Toronto, and lost in the shuffle of the crash involving Alex Lloyd right before the yellow. Take a look and watch what happens. Dario Franchitti, that's Vitor Meira right in the middle of this sandwich.
And then Elio talked about how early Vitor Meira was braking going down that long back straightaway into turn 3, and we saw that there, that he's on the brakes a lot earlier than everyone else, and they can get some passes completed.
And that was Dario Franchitti, and also there Will Power making it a pass. That's a very difficult place to get around, and he moves into third. Franchitti now into second behind Paul Tracy. Here's another view.
And for right now for Vitor Meira, he's lucky he didn't get hit in the back and sort of sent down the escape road. Will Power did a great job on making sure he didn't do that to him.
And there is the pass. I can't remember the last time we saw in 2 years a pass there in turn 5.
Oh, and I've been around this track numerous times. It's very difficult. And when you come off a restart, you hope that your car has grip. And if your car's not working for you, and I have to say right now, Vitor's car probably does not have as much grip as a leader, so that's why they can get that pass completed.
All right, let's talk a little bit more strategy involving Paul Tracy. Rick DeBrule.
Yeah, sitting here with Nick Harvey, who's the strategist. Let's talk about what the plan is. You were saying you really want as many green flag laps, and yet why not yellow? Hopefully do it on just one stop.
Well, if we can stretch the field, I mean, we were further down in the field, so we had to go off strategy with what the leaders are doing to make it work. Now we need a green flag so we can stretch the field out, so when we pit, we don't come out of the back again. We come in midfield. Right now, we just hope it stays green a long time, so when we pit under green, so do the leaders when they have to pit again, and then it'll all cycle out and work out.
All right, let's talk about tire status. I mean, those tires have been on there a long time. How are they doing?
Well, I'd prefer to have new ones. But he's keeping them under there. We got a little bit of push in the car, but he's dealing with it really well. And the good news is that they're hot, and it's PT in Toronto, so I'll take that every time.
All right, so they're confident about their man up there. They just need a little luck to make it all work, Marty.
All right, thank you, Rick. And of course, Paul Tracy racing in front of his hometown. We talked to him.
For me, it's the biggest race of the year for me. Obviously, there's always been a lot of pressure from, you know, not only myself. You know, there's nobody that puts any more pressure than I put on myself to do well here. But you know, there's always a lot of media pressure to do well, the hometown guys to do well.
And as we get ready to come back to racing, here we go through turn number 11. Green flag flies, and Paul Tracy leads the field. That's Frank Key Sheedy with Will Power right behind him. Vitor Mirrors in 4th. And boy, Justin Wilson on those red tires. He's the only one in the top 13 that's on the alternate reds, and he wants to get around Vitor.
Has to do it cleanly because he probably have seen that Vitor's having problem under braking. Now Vitor